Hi students, let us continue our lesson, the Vedic civilization. The next it is the social life of the Vedic people. First it is their family. Already I hope that you all are remembering whatever we studied under the previous four civilizations we studied. Almost similar points are here also, little much changes only. So like as the family, it was known as the fundamental unit of the society. Also, in the early Vedic age, the Aryans lived in villages. They were concentrated there in village life followed, and fundamental unit of the society, it was their family, and it was patriarchal, which means head of the family and most important hereditary way, the one generation to another generation. Father means the male members are more important. That is known as actually patriarchal way. From father's hair, it's next generation to the son. Like that way, following the system, it was known as a patriarchal system. So that is patriarchal system, and this means the oldest male member was the head of the family. Oldest male member was the head of the family, and he was called as Grihapati, means the family, the head of the family, or Kulapati. Like that way they called. It's a one mark question. Who was known as the head of the family? The oldest male member, he was called as Kulapati or Grihapati. Next is the position of women's position in the social life. In the early Vedic society, women were equal status or equal rights were there along with the men. Education also opened for both girls and boys. Also, women attended the tribal assembly. We already studied in the Sabha Samiti Vidhada. Women also participated in the debates, religious ceremonies and all. Also, the daughters were allowed to choose their husbands in a special ceremony that was known as Swayamvara. They can choose the husband by their own way, their own wish itself. That is event or ceremony, it was known as Swayamvara. Some of the historical movies and all, we can see that. And widows were allowed to remarry. Widow means the husband died, women, it is known as widow. That women are known as widows. So women, after the death of their husband, they get another chance. Means it is the right of the women for remarriage, and also the practice of child marriage, Parda system or Sadi, that were not in existence. Parda system, we know that not at all right to show their means face and all. Also child marriage, below very lower age itself, marrying the girls, that is child marriage, it was not at all practiced. Also Sadi, these kind of practices were not there. And caste system, it was not at all rigid caste system followed during the early Vedic civilization under the Indo-Aryans. We know that when they came to India, they were known as Indo-Aryans. Aryans came after India, and the word that was originally used to distinguish between the Aryans and non-Aryans, that was Varna. The meaning, it was Varna means color. Based on color itself, they divided the whole society into different way. Aryans were fair-skinned and considered themselves superior to the non-Aryans. That means the already settled people, they were the Dravidians, they were called, otherwise known as the Indus Valley people. They were comparing with that people, the Aryans were well looking very fair-skinned and well nice figure. Their figure was very nice comparing with the people, those who were already settled there. And also means non-Aryans who were actually dark skin, their skin was very dark comparing with the Aryans. So that's why they separated and divided the whole society based on color. That means Varna system. Listen that one. They called the non-Aryans as Dasas or Dasyus. Later on, Varna system began to be used to refer a social division. Gradually, they divided the total society into 4 classes, otherwise known as Varnas, 4 Varnas. The 4 classes or Varnas were one by one. Listen, the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. Later it was changed on the basis of occupation. Occupation means their job based. The Brahmins, actually the priests who performed religious rituals. Brahmins, puja, like that way, religious rituals, it was done by the Brahmins. Kshatriyas, they were the writing class, especially they were known as the warring or doing war or battle. They were led the war or battle. That class was known as Kshatriya. King and his war occupying group, it was known as Kshatriya, and who fought wars and protected the tribe. Vaishyas, the third category, those engaged in agriculture, business, industry, like that way, they were known as Vaishyas. And the last and the most lineal group, it was known as Shudras, those who served the upper three classes. They emerged towards the end of the Rigvedic period, but were neither hated nor treated as untouchables. Means that at the early Vedic period, not at all much more differences or distinguish way itself, it was not at all existed there. Anyway, gradually this pattern become made very severe caste system in the society. These divisions were not very rigid, and one could adopt the profession of one's choice. Within the family, all the varnas could be found. Inside the family, all the varnas were there. Based on their way itself, they can choose at the first time. For example, a verse in the Rig Veda says that in a family, the father was a physician, the mother was a corn grinder, and the son a poet. Like that way, different, whatever their choices, based on their choices, they can choose their occupation at the first time. Okay, so that was known as Varna system. It's very important, Varna system. And food and drinks of the Aryans. Milk and milk products formed an important part of the diet of the Aryans. They used to eat cakes of rice or barley. Porridge was prepared from barley. Barley was used for making porridge. They consumed soma. It's a kind of intoxicating drink, soma, and it was taken during festival time only. Intoxicant, alcoholic thing it was. They used at the same occasional time only. Dress was used by the Aryans. Simple dress, simple clothes they were used. Lower garment, it was called nivi or dhoti, and the upper piece was known as a shawl. One shawl also used. Men tied turbans around their head. Both men and women were they wore ornaments made of gold, silver, ivory, precious stones, and all used for making ornaments. Both men and women, both one wore these ornaments. Entertainment. The Aryans enjoyed horse racing, gambling, music, and hunting. Entertainment means free time. They used these kind of engaging these kind of things. And their chief musical instrument, it was known as drum. The drum, flute, and mridang. These kind of things we already know. It's very familiar to us. And they indulged in indoor games. Indoor games like dice and gambling also they played. These were the entertainment of the Vedic people, especially in the early Vedic people. So social life only, family, position of women, caste system, food and drinks, dress, and entertainment. These were the social life of the early Vedic people. So please read the textbook after watching the video. Okay, thank you.